Hi guys, and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to show you how we can make procedurally generated islands in Unity. First of all, I want to say that we are using the stuff we made from the last videos. So here we have a tilemap with a tilemap collider 2D and a composite collider. So you can just check the last video, and not the last video, but I'll put the link in the description. And then you can just implement these. So after that, we also have a tilemap generator script, but I just deleted all the code in it because we want to rewrite. First of all, we want to have a rule tile. So let's create a 2D tiles and then a rule tile here. We can name this rule tile wall or something. And we will now need a default sprite. So I've made some tiles here, and we can just get the first one here. That's just an empty brass tile, and we don't want any colliders on that. Now let's start adding the tiling rules. First of all, let's select the sprite. We can select this one, so we can see where the walls are, and we're going to check them as false. And the open areas are going to be the green arrows. So if there are any tiles here and no tiles there, then it's going to spawn this tile. The collider, so we already set up different colliders for each tile, and I also showed you how you can set custom colliders for every tile in another episode. Also, we can set this to rotated, so if the tiles rotate, these rules will rotate as well. Let's make a new one, and we don't need this because this is just the rotated one. And we can, for example, now choose this, and we will look at which areas are open, and we're going to check through. And if the area isn't open, we're going to tick this as false. So let's just add the other tiles as well. So now we are done making the rules, and we can just rewrite this script here. Just open this up. Here we have an empty script, and we can just start by adding our variables. So we will need two integers. One is the width and the other one is the height. And then we will also use two floats. The first one is the scale, and the second one is our island's radius. And then we will also need a tilemap that we are going to paint on. And we will also need a tile base. This is going to be our rule tiles. Or let's just name this land tile, because we are going to paint the land with this. And the last thing is we need a map. This can be private. It's going to be a two-dimensional bool, and we can name this land map. So if the area or if the coordinate is going to be a land tile, for example, the bool is going to be true, and if not, it's going to be false. At the start, we can call a new function. We can call it island generator, for example, or generate island. And we can make this function here. So first of all, we are going to set our bool, the land map. It's going to be a new bool with the size of width and height. So we will have our coordinates, and we can start setting a new value for each coordinate. So we will need some for loops here. First one is with the width, or let's start by doing the height first. So we are going to look through the height and the width. And we can now set a new value for each coordinate using Berlin noise. So to set the value, first of all, let's get the x coordinate. So this is going to be a new float. And we are going to set this to x divided by width. And same with the y as well. And now we can set a new Berlin noise value. So float Berlin value is going to equal to mathf dot Berlin noise. And then here we can give the x coordinate and multiply it by our scale, and the y coordinate by our scale. Now we can calculate our center, or calculate the distance to center. So we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem for this. Here we can set x minus width divided by 2, so distance from center, and here we can get the y coordinates as well. So the distance of the y coordinate to the center, this is going to be the exact same thing, y minus height divided by 2 and then to the power of 2. And now we can divide this by width divided by 2. Looks like we forgot a t here. And then we can just set our new value. Let's call it island value. And this is going to be equal to our Berlin value. And then we are going to multiply it by 1f minus distance from center and divide this by our island radius. So now we can set the island radius to how big we want the island to be. And now we can set the coordinates value, so the landmass value based on our island value. So we want our island value to be bigger than, for example, 0.1f. And we also don't want the distance to be bigger than 1. And if this is true, we are going to set our land map x and y to true. And if not, we are going to set it to false. And after that, so this would be enough to generate some islands, but we will also want to make sure that there's only one single island and that there are no gaps inside the island. So if you're okay with just there being a bigger island and then smaller islands next to it, or the bigger island having some water tiles inside it, this is going to be enough. But we will want to do some new functions, and first of it is going to ensuring that there's only a single island. And then the second one is going to fill the gaps. So now let's continue by doing the ensure single line load function. And here, first of all, we want to get our center. So let's get a new integer x, or start x. And this is going to be equal to width divided by 2. And let's do the same with y. And now this will give us the coordinates of the center of the map, and we want to check if this is an island tile. If not, we want to get a new island tile. So let's just do if land map and start x and start y is false, or we can also do it like this. We want to check for a new island tile, and here we can now set a new bool and call it found. So it's going to be false at the start, and then we are going to loop through all our land map values. So we can start with integer y, and if the integer y is smaller than our height, and if we still haven't found a tile, and we need another loop with the x value, and here we can get the width, and also if there's no island tile found yet, we can check if the new coordinate is an island tile, and if it is, then we are going to set our start x and start y values. And after that we can set our bool to true. So that's going to break the loops. Now after that we want to make a float fill starting from our start x and start y. So we can now get a new bool, another two-dimensional bool. We can call it visited, and this is going to be a new bool with the size, width and height. After that we can also make a queue. This is going to take in a vector2 int. We can call it q, and then let's just set this a new q vector2 int, and after that we can start by enqueuing our first coordinate here. So let's get a new vector2 int, and we can get the values start x and start y. So this means we have already visited this start value, so just get visited start x and start y and set it to true. So the main idea is now that we are going to get all our neighboring island tiles starting from our center, and we are going to set our land map value to true for all these tiles, and the other island tiles which are not connected to this big island in the center are going to be removed. So let's start by getting a new vector2 int. So this vector2 int is going to be the first vector2 int we have in our queue, and then get a new integer called x, set it to our current x, and then let's do the same with y coordinate. And using these coordinates we want to check the neighboring tiles. So for this we can set some vector2 ints. This is going to be a array and call it directions. And first of all, we want to add a new vector to int. This is going to be 1 and 0, so this is going to be the right neighboring tile, and then we are going to get the left one with -1 and 0. After that, we can get the tile on top of, so the tile on top of our current value, and from the bottom. So this is going to be 0 and -1. We have mixed this up. So first one is going to be 0, second one is 1. So after that we can use a for each function, a for each loop, to check through all directions. And we are going to add our directions to our already existing coordinates. And add x. Do the same with the y coordinate. And we want to check, first of all we want to check if the style exists. So let's look if new x is smaller than 0 or not smaller than 0, bigger or equal to 0, and we also want to check if it smaller than our width, for example. Yeah, our width. And then do the same with new y. So new y has to be bigger or equal to 0, and also smaller than our height. And after that we also want to check if we already visited this. So it has to be not visited to work, and then we also want to know if it's an island tile. So let's just check if the land map is true there. And if that's the case, we can enqueue our new coordinate. So let's just get our coordinate here, vector to int, and the new x and new y. And we also want to set this as visited, of course. So visited new x and new y is going to be true. And after that, let's just update our land map. So let's loop through each coordinate again. And if we haven't visited, so visited is false, add x and y. Then we want to set the land map to false. So now this is going to remove all of the islands that are not connected to our island in the center. And now we can continue by doing the fill gaps function. So let's see where this ends. Okay, after here we will write void fill gaps, and we want a flood fill here again. So first of all we can set a new land map. This is going to be a 2-dimensional wall, and then let's also set the size of it, so width and height. And after that we can just copy this new land map function So here we want y and height. So again we will get every coordinate, and same with x as well. And let's just go ahead and copy the land map. So we will get the land map value from the coordinates and then set it equal to our actual land map value. So now this is the same as our land map, and we can continue the flat fill. Now we want to get all the waters outside of the island in another map. So let's just create a new map and call it outside water, and we can also set the size of it. And then let's also make a queue. This is going to get a vector2 int, and we can name it queue again. And let's set it equal to a new queue, and it will take vector2 int. Now to get all the waters on the outside, we can just get the waters on the edge first, so the edge of the map. And for this we will just get another for function, another for loop, and we will loop through every x value. And if, let's say, land map, so if you don't have a land tile on x and 0, so these are the tiles on the bottom of the map. So if these are water, then we want to first of all get our queue, and then we can enqueue a new vector2 int, and the position is going to be x and 0, of course. And we can also set a new outside water. So this is going to be a water tile, and we can just copy this and paste it, and this time we will check for height or no. We can do height -1 as the y value, so that's going to be the top of the map. And then we can do the same thing, just copy the coordinates, and now we can just copy this and make the same with the y values. So we will get the water tiles on the right and the left side. So instead of x, we're going to write y, and instead of the width, we're going to write height. And here our x value is 0 and y value is y. Let's just change these. So this is going to be the left tiles, and now we can do the right tiles. So here we will have width -1, and here we will have our y value again, and here is the same. Change this too. And here y again. Now to do the flat fill, we can go back to our ensure single island function and copy this flat fill here. So this, and then paste it. let's see, paste it here. And these are going to be the same. But here, we want to make sure that it is not a land tile, because we want to get our water tiles. And here, instead of visited, we will get edge water. No, outside water, we call it. And we can also do this, change this to outside water as well. And now every water tile outside of the island tile should be water now. Now we want to set all the water tiles that are not outside of the island to land. And for this we can go to ensure single island again and copy this one. And we can also paste it here. And now instead of visited, we will again write outside water. So the tiles that are not outside of the island and that aren't land. So we can add this here too. These are going to be turned into land tiles. So let's write new land map is true. And at the end of it, we can set our land map equal to new land map. And at last we can just apply our tilemap. So let's come back here to generate island, and after we have filled the gaps and ensured a single island, we can copy this because we want to loop through every coordinate. And now let's paste this here. And if we have a land map, we want to set our tile. So let's get our tile map first. We call it tilemap and then set tile. Here we need a vector 3 int, and the position is going to be our x value minus width divided by 2, and then y minus height divided by 2, and we want to have 0 as the z value because we have a 2D project. And we also need to give it the tile. So I think we called it land tile. Yes, we did. And I think this is it. So let's go back to our project and check if it works. It looks like we have some errors in the code. So come back to ensure single island, and here instead of semicolons we need to just a normal commas. Let's fix this fast. Here again, and I think we also did the same thing in fill gaps. Let's see where our directions are. Let's just do it like this, so the equal signs are in the wrong place. And here too, it has to be after the declaration, and then let's go back to our project. Now here we can start by adjusting our values. So let's do a width of 100 and set the height to 100 as well. We can set the scale to 20 and the island radius to 0.7. Our tile map is this one, and our land tile is our rule tile we made here. Now let's start the project and let's see how our island looks. Now let's zoom out, and it looks like we have a nice island here. So we can see that it's a single island without like smaller parts. And we can also see that there are no water tiles inside of it. So if you want to have like smaller lakes inside the island, you can just come back to our script and delete the fill gaps here. Or if you want like some smaller islands around our big island, you can delete this. So that's it for the video. If you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more tutorials on Unity and Godot.